Welcome back to KFC Yum Center. Moments away from that opening tip. The LS Tractor Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets starting lineup. And we told you about Michael DeVoe, one of the leading scorers in the league. He's 7th in the conference, almost 16 points per game, but was limited to just 6 points in that game against Virginia. And the Louisville Cardinals, their LS Tractor starting lineup. And it features Kimball, Perry, Sutton, Wara, and Stephen Enoch. 15-3 on the season. They are 6-1 in conference play. And right now at the top of the standings and tied with Florida State. The opening tip controlled by the save from Wara. And Louisville starts with the basketball.
Let's see, Tom, Louisville coming off a very impressive 3-game win streak on the road. The last one being at Cameron Indoor, and you need to come out with early energy, maybe not have a letdown in this game.
They won at Notre Dame, at Pittsburgh, and at Duke, and they start with a 3-point basket.
Well, that's going to be the big difference in this game. I think Georgia Tech, although shooting better from 3 in the ACC, not a great perimeter team.
So Darius Perry gets the scoring started.
You look at Louisville, they played the pack line defense. It's going to be very tough to penetrate inside, but a good start from the perimeter.
Sweet music from Alvarado, and we're tied at 3. Jose Alvarado, double-digit score on average this season for the Yellow Jackets, just over 11 points per game, and he just connected on his 17th 3 of the year. Wara, it's all 3 balls, Mike.
Just erase the paint on both ends of the floor and keep the line out there.
How about the junior Jordan Wara from Buffalo, New York? Played his prep ball at Vermont Academy. 45 made 3s on the season. That is the most on this Louisville roster.
Last 2, only 2 of 8, so a little bit down, but that's a great start for him.
In transition, Wara pulls up. Fight on the offensive glass, stripped away. Yellow Jackets the outlet. Alvarado waiting for reinforcements, but not for very long.
How about, I mean, you take the 3. That was 1 on 4. There were 4 Cardinals back defensively. Alvarado, the only guy for Georgia Tech, and he pulls up and takes a 3.
Don't forget, Mike, he scored 20 points in the loss against Virginia. Wara with a rim bender.
I asked Chris Mack before the game, you know, he went through the whole process of exploring the NBA last summer and decided to come back, and he said he's really improved in every area. He can score at 3 levels.
He's led the team in scoring 16 of their 18 games this season. Usher misses on the 3. Online, but just a hair too strong. Kimball the entry. Enoch looking for help. Enoch sheds his defender. Can't finish off the play.
Cleared out, no double team coming that time, so he had plenty, but it was interesting. The referee, when you hold the ball, you can get a 5-second call, and he came close to getting it that time.
Georgia Tech has lost 8 in a row against the Cardinals. They've lost 5 in a row here in Louisville. In the paint, and that one will spin on in for Moses Wright.
Good deep catch for him. He started all 18 games, a double-figure scorer.
He's been strong in his last 9 games, Mike, averaging 16 points and 8 boards for Moses Wright. Offensive glass. Kimball. 3 ball.
Fresh Kimball out of Philly.
Fresh-looking shot.
Newman Goretti, very famous high school graduate student. This is an old Louisville team.
Yes, experience up and down the roster.
A lot of 5-year seniors, and Kimball a grad student.
It's high off the glass and well calculated on the angle for DeVoe. First basket for DeVoe.
A pretty nice start for Georgia Tech in the first 4.5 minutes.
Just a 1-point lead for Louisville. Wara trying to increase it. And the rebound from James Banks went high to get that one. He's one of the leading rebounders in the conference. Over 7.5 rebounds per game for Banks and 10th in the ACC. Usher, awkward drive, able to tip it.
And you're going to see these guys for most of the game. It's a very short bench for Josh Pastner. He doesn't play a ton of guys, and we'll see how that plays out over the course of 40 minutes.
Usher is a transfer from Southern Cal. Became eligible in December. Inside, Banks has the block.
He just got pinned too far underneath the basket. Had no lane to get to the rim.
Enoch trying to go up strong. Banks was there and waiting. Banks is one of the top shot blockers in the league, Mike. Almost 3 per game. Second best in the ACC. It's a traveling violation against Georgia Tech. If you're looking for three-point baskets, you have come to the right place. Alvarado, one of 2 early threes. Strumming some sweet music for the Yellow Jackets. Jackets by 1 first half. Now time for our Ford Keys to the game with Mike Jaminski.
Georgia Tech, 17 turnovers a game they average, so that was a big point. They spent most of shoot-around working on ball handling, passing, and catching. And then, for Louisville, it's going to be three-point shooting. 3 of 5 so far in this game, and like I said, that's the big disparity in statistic that jumps out at you.
The Cardinals make 8 threes per game. That is 5th in the ACC. But as Mike mentioned, they are already 3 for 5 from beyond the arc. 22 feet 1 3/4 inches this year, extended this season to the international distance. Wara trying to make his move, and the foul is called. Ted Valentine, Pat Driscoll, Matt Potter are officiating crew for this evening. DeVoe has his first personal.
Beeman would have cleared that by 7 feet. I think these last few years watching these guys shoot threes, I mean they were 3 feet behind the old line anyway.
39% shooting from beyond the arc for Louisville this season. That is tops in the ACC. Keep an eye on that shot clock for Kimball. Flips it out to Wara. Wide open from the corner pocket, but misses.
Boy, he had a great look. You see how compact the Georgia Tech defense is, almost giving him that shot rather than letting him drive.
They get a bucket at the other end from DeVoe, kind of hanging and scoring.
Yeah, and I think that's, for him, that's good on a number of levels. One, to get that basket, you tweaked your ankle, coming off an injury, get the confidence back to get the lift.
Perry on the drive, high off the square. Doesn't get the angle. Second chance on the possession. Wara hops into the paint, drops it off. Banks was defending, and the foul is called as Malik Williams will stride to the free throw line. It will be on Banks and be his first. Second on the team.
Talking to Chris Mack, we talk about older guys. He's got guys who lead by example, but he really says that Malik Williams is the guy who's the voice of the locker room. That he's the one that's talking, and also, Tom, he's the guy who directs the traffic. He's the middle linebacker on defense. He gets everybody organized.
He is one of the captains for this Louisville program. And you see right behind him that Ryan McMahon has come into the game as well. So that is 1 of 2 for Malik Williams, 64% from the stripe on the season. It's a 2-point game in the first half. Last year's game in Atlanta was not close, 79-51. Wara went for 25 points, and the Cards took home victory, their 8th in a row in the series.
I remember seeing a record like that, on the turnover, third of the game.
The no-look the other way. Wow, what a defensive play.
Moses right.
Jeez, and at the other end, it's Usher going in for the two-fisted jam.
You talk about a 4-point turnaround in like 4 seconds.
Moses right at the defensive end. He's number 5 in old gold and blue. Alvarado hits the deck.
The screen.
They're going to give it, Mike, officially to Wara.
Oh, Aaron for pushing off. Okay. I mean, it really could have gone either way. Here's the look. I don't know if they ever, it looked like he tripped him, and I don't know that Wara fouled.
4-point lead for Georgia Tech. DeVoe into the corner, right. Sutton on the handle. Challenges DeVoe. And Johnson will lay it in.
Good little pump fake. I mean, I thought Georgia Tech did a nice job getting back defensively that time in transition. But little drop in the lane and nice move inside.
How about David Johnson, who just scored his first basket of this game, Mike? 19 points, a season high against Duke in the win on the road, and that'll stay on the rim and fall.
It's funny. Dino Gaudio, the assistant coach, comes in. I was talking to him, and Pro Scout came early in the year, and he was looking at War, obviously, and a couple other guys, and he all of a sudden said, "Hey, who's number 13?"
Number 13 is David Johnson, who's been big in the last two games of the ACC Freshman of the Week. Traveling violation. So Georgia Tech is going to get the ball back, and look at the defense at one end, and they turn it into points. Usher dropping the hammer. 4-point lead, Georgia Tech. On the banks of the Ohio River, KFC Yum Center, the Cards trailing the visiting Yellow Jackets 18-14. 11:48 to go in a fast-paced first half of action between these two programs.
Well, we talk about bench. To this point, and let's see coming out of the timeout, but Josh Pastner has played 5 guys. No substitutions to this point. 8 guys have played for Louisville.
And Alvarado has 8 points, and that leads all scorers so far in our game. He hasn't missed a shot. He's 3 for 3. And he's made a couple of three-pointers as well, and he does it with a little bit of flair as well, Mike Jaminski.
Well, I mean, he's a tough kid. I mean, I love watching him play, and he's one of the few guys. He had a turnover early, but 2-to-1 assist to turnover ratio, pretty good.
25 points for Alvarado in a win against North Carolina. DeVoe got his defender in the air. And a foul will be called against the Cardinals. It's going to be Dwayne Sutton and be his first. So DeVoe to the free throw line for Georgia Tech. 70% of the season for the sophomore from Orlando, Florida. Montverde Academy in Florida.
We talked about that. The injury played a big part of this stat. But he's been under double figures through the last 5, and they've got to have his scoring.
Samuel Williamson into the lineup for Louisville. Almost 16 points per game on the season from Michael DeVoe. Now he's got 5 after that free throw. And here's your substitutions, Mike, for Georgia Tech. Evan Cole's going to come into the game. You see DeVoe is leaving along with Moses Wright. DeVoe has 5 points, Wright with 2. They're on the bench right now for Georgia Tech, and Louisville has the basketball with McMahon. Inside, open man. And that'll drop. Malik Williams and going to the line.
Chance for the and 1-2, and a beautiful job of screening outside. You see right there, and they just roll them right into the basket. Actually, double screen up top, and that gives Johnson a terrific look inside.
Can't finish off the old school three-point play for Malik Williams, who averages about 8 points per game. Had 12 in the win at Duke and went 4 of 8 from the floor with 7 boards. Came off the bench in that game. Alvarado tried to slip that pass along the baseline to Evan Cole. It was deflected. Banks stays with it and has the bucket for Georgia Tech.
There's been some pretty good offensive rebounding on both sides from the bigs up front on blocks and misses.
It's the first basket for Banks in the game. Johnson has to hand it off to McMahon, and now a foul is called against Johnson.
It was a screen.
Yeah, he ran it to Parham. First on Johnson.
I mean, this, as a screener, you've got to, there's a lot he's going to learn, but you've got to get set and let the guy use you rather than try to, you're trying to get your teammate open.
Bubba Parham, number 11, junior from Snellville, Georgia, and a transfer from VMI where he played 2 seasons. Alvarado kept his footing. Trying to get by Johnson. It's out of bounds, and it's off of Alvarado, according to Ted Valentine.
Well, and this is the thing. I mean, he dribbled himself into trouble, and that time really good defense.
Alvarado was not a part of last year's game in Atlanta against Louisville. Had an injury, did not play, and it was a big win for the Cards on the road a season ago. Going to go against Louisville. Second foul on Johnson.
So short rotation for him, and that's going to put him on the bench. Trimble coming back in.
So Johnson averaging 15 points in his last 2 games per game and shooting 58% has to go to the bench.
And those are some things you're going to have to live with as a freshman. He has those 2 good games and comes back home and off the court early here.
Well, he's from Louisville and Trinity High School. The officials are looking at one another. It's going to be a traveling violation against Usher.
Ted Valentine came in and overruled that. He was the one who was out on the perimeter. Overruled Matt Potter on the play.
You see what Johnson did, way above his season average and the season high for the freshman. Louisville's a team that's won 4 games in a row, and 3 of those on the road, and that goes out of bounds. McMahon was unable to save it.
Well, that was unforced error. I mean, that pass was catchable. He was just looking to make the next pass before he could capture the ball. That's one thing that Josh Pastner was harping on today, talking about the ball handling. He said, pass with 2 hands, catch with 2 hands. I don't know how many times he said that during the course of the shoot-around.
Williams out of the game right now for Louisville. Coach Pastner's in his 4th season as the head coach for the Yellow Jackets. 7 years as the head coach at Memphis prior to coming to Atlanta. Alvarado's off the mark from way outside. Wara tries to lead this break. McMahon lining up a 3. Wide-eyed Jose Alvarado. Moving inside to right. Certainly had the size advantage on the smaller McMahon, and they did take advantage of that, and 4 points for Wright.
Yeah, he got to switch that time, and a good job of sealing, and a lot of time a center will just try to push off, even though he had an advantage. That was a nice lob from the outside, no pressure on the pass.
This one inside, foul on the play. Stephen Enoch trying to get to the rim. The foul's on Moses Wright, his first. So the Yellow Jackets under Josh Pastner with the lead here in the first half. Though they have struggled against top 25 opponents, and they're playing number 6 in the nation tonight. 17 straight losses to the top 25.
At the same time, it just, 0-4 at home and 3-1 on the road.
And right now, they are eligible for the ACC tournament. Their current NCAA case is
pending appeal right now.
So, appeal.
But nobody's really sure when that, when that's going to come down.
Until a decision is made, they can participate in the tournament. This year we're going back to Greensboro, essentially Mike Jaminski's second home. The roots of the tournament, that'll be in early March.
Back into 17.
There's 15 now, by the way, Mike. And right now we're expecting to see them all in Greensboro. Full complement. Cole was doubled. Trouble. And then committed the foul.
Double up, you get the turnover, and then compounded it with the foul.
His first with exactly 8 minutes to go in the first half. When we come back, it is Louisville basketball. The 10th season of KFC Yum Center. Our host tonight, the Cards and the Jackets. The 5-point lead, exactly 8 minutes to go in the first half. We're one of 4 games tonight. A couple of finals from yesterday with Clemson and Duke posting wins. The home team, ironically, winning in those games. And Syracuse and Notre Dame tied in the first half. And after us, we'll have Boston College and Pittsburgh on the Regional Sports Network.
I think that stat still holds that at this point in the season, the road team has a winning record in the league so far.
Road teams, Mike, 30 and 25 so far this season, with the 2 wins by the home team last night in Clemson. A close one with Wake Forest in Clemson, South Carolina, and Duke dominated Miami for the win. And for Duke, that stopped a 2-game losing streak. They are right behind Florida State and this Louisville program in the standings. And the layup is good for Enoch. 4 points, Stephen Enoch.
Nice job throwing over the top. And interestingly enough, though, before that basket, still that Georgia Tech outscoring Louisville in the paint.
DeVoe trying to go against 2 defenders. Kimball got in his way. The arrow will favor Georgia Tech. Yellow Jackets 8 and 10 on the season, 3 and 5 in conference play. Of their last 10 games, Mike, as Parham comes out of the game and has a conversation with Josh Pascal, this is the 7th on the road as they play tonight. Trying to work DeVoe off the inbounds, able to regather. Shot clock is inside of 10. High degree of difficulty, and Sutton is picking up the foul for the Cardinals.
Well, a lot of that too, Thomas, is how it worked out in December. They started out on the road. And there's the little push. The crowd not thinking that was basically a double dribble, but he did catch it, and crowd not happy.
Wara comes back into the ball game. 5 points for Wara. Made a 3-pointer on 3 attempts from beyond the arc. And that is point number 7 in the game for Michael DeVoe.
When Georgia Tech has been, when they take care of the ball and get shots, I mean, their offense is pretty good.
6 turnovers in the first half for Georgia Tech, 5 for Louisville. Enoch able to maintain possession. Shot clock is at 8 for Kimball. Crowded baseline. Williamson rises and hits for Louisville.
Good bailout at the end of the shot clock that time, and Georgia Tech coming down, doubling the post, getting it out of his hands, but he bails him out with a nice shot.
First bucket for Williamson, the freshman from Rockwall, Texas. Congested area in the paint. DeVoe has to go back to Alvarado. Trying to work off the Banks screen. Usher, Wara was all over him. Banks up top for the board. He almost spun it in, but he got fouled, Mike.
See, and those are the ones that are frustrating for a coach, especially Chris Mack. A good defensive sequence, you barely beat the shot clock, and then you give up the offensive rebound and 2 free throws.
Georgia Tech as a team is 3 of 4 from the line. And Banks gets his first chance at the free throw line. Coming into the game, they were 14th in the conference, rather, 65% as a team. And prior to tonight, they had gone just 13 of their last 24 from the stripe. Tonight, the results much better, and now 4 points for Banks.
Their numbers across the line shooting are really good so far in this game for them. I mean, that was great defense by Alvarado, but Warren just used his height advantage to shoot over the top.
That's 8 points for Wara. Second three-point basket, and he closes the gap to 2 with inside of 6 minutes to go in our first half of action. Alvarado nowhere to go. Usher travels. It is turnover number 7 in the first half, and the ball goes back to Louisville with a chance to tie or take the lead.
And for Usher, and throughout the early part of the season, most of his minutes have come when he's played well defensively.
Kimball tried to thread that one inside. Too many obstacles. DeVoe the other way, and he lays it in. It's 9 first half points. Michael DeVoe.
Yeah, very opportunistic that time, scoring off the turnover. Been impressed at how quickly Georgia Tech can advance the ball up the floor.
They have a foul called. Looks like they got Usher for the foul, his first. Yes, it was Usher's.
Both teams are just one foul away from getting into the bonus.
Kimball just came out of the game for Louisville. He's got 3 points. Made his only three-point chance. Johnson drew some defensive attention, but then Williamson
stepped out of bounds.
It was out of bounds, right in front of the Georgia Tech bench. So the lead is 4 for Georgia Tech now late into the first half. Cards are coming off that enormous win at number 3 Duke on Saturday. Alvarado hit the deck. 2 more players fall. Foul's going to be called.
They're going to call a block that.
Well, that's Williamson inside, Mike, and that's his first.
I mean, what happened? Williamson was trying to get to the baseline. His feet went out from underneath him, and that's what got him the foul.
So a bonus situation right now for both teams, so that puts Wright at the free throw line. He's got 4 points. First free throws for Wright. Before the next one, a quick word from Works Switch Driver.
The Works Switch Driver. With 2 rotating chucks, you can switch between bits in a second and get projects done twice as fast.
Back to the live action. 4:42 to go in our first half. It's a 5-point lead for Georgia Tech. Miscommunication, but Johnson was able to get it. Fancy dribble. Williams. Weak side. DeVoe and Wara, and it's off of DeVoe. 20-second reset on the shot clock for Louisville.
Johnson coming back in despite the 2 personal fouls.
Wara's leading scorer with his 8 points for the Cardinals. Williams backing down. Wara was coming in looking for the follow jam, and then a foul was called. Johnson also got his hands on the basketball, but
Usher can pick up the foul.
Second on Usher. So Wara to the free throw line. First in the conference in scoring. 19.6 points per game for Jordan Wara.
You know, and we talked about it, they talked about him being a late second-round pick last year. But the thing was, when he was being evaluated, he was hurt and really couldn't perform at top level. And maybe Louisville, the beneficiary of that, maybe him not being at his best at the eval camp.
He's also one of the better free throw shooters in the league too, Mike. 79%. Not a lot of weaknesses in his game. Alvarado puts on a dribbling clinic. Straight away, DeVoe. Knocked around by Usher at first. Banks pass intercepted by Johnson. Perry trying to get it back to Johnson, and now a tie-up. And the whistle will favor Louisville. When we come back, the Cards have the ball, but it's Georgia Tech with the 30-26 advantage here in Louisville. With the Jackets in front 30-26, we get a quick word from Continental Tire.
Continental Tire, for what you do.
KFC Yum Center alive tonight, but Georgia Tech not backing down one bit from the number 6 team in the nation. Mike, 30-26, 3:50 to go in our first half.
Well, and how often we talk about it, how important the last 4 minutes of the first half are. If you're Coach Pastner, you got a 4-point lead. You know, you're ahead of where you are, although you know you are a good road team, but you don't want to let Louisville go on a run here going into the half.
4-3 away from Atlanta for Georgia Tech. They are 3-1 in conference on the road. Wara spinning and shooting front rim. Georgia Tech is led by as many as 7 points in this first half. Louisville had a 3-point lead early in the game.
Good job defending Wara. I mean, he's got 9 points, but he's had to take 7 shots.
That's a Johnson steal, trying to do it himself, and he rolls it over the front rim. David Johnson.
Now, you know why the scouts are a little excited about him. Great end-to-end finish. See, that's what I talk about the runs. I mean, you get also the crowd gets into it a little bit. Nice answer by Alvarado.
Double digits now for Alvarado after that jumper. Double figures 6 times this season for Alvarado, playing in his 12th game of the year. Did miss 7 games with an ankle injury. That one will drop in. Perry on the drive. He's got 5.
Really nice high screen roll with Malik Williams that time. He had offensive rebounding position, but nice lay off the top of the glass.
Alvarado.
They try to do the same thing, but Louisville played that screen a little bit better.
Possession, all Alvarado, so he gives it to Banks for the jam, and he does a little chin up on the rim.
Well, and Alvarado came perilously close to traveling that time. You know, slipped, and it looked like he went a good distance, but got away with it.
This is Johnson.
And they got a switch inside now with Warren Alvarado.
Johnson wants 3. Not this time, and now a whistle.
You got to go back to that. Wara got the foul on that play.
Yep. It's a foul against Louisville. Time for Land Rover, the drive, and first, it's David Johnson, Mike.
Yeah, so explosive. Out in the open floor. See, you let that guy get to his right hand like that. Perry with the nice finish.
Darius Perry, the junior from Marietta, Georgia. Perry struggled against Duke, just 3 points, 1 of 4 shooting. And now Wara will come out of the game. 9 points for Wara. He is the leading scorer in the first half. For the Cards, not a big surprise with Alvarado at the free throw line.
I think Chris Mack probably just going to give him the rest of the half off, keep him a little fresher for the second half.
Wara also has 2 personal fouls as well. Usher tried to come in for the miss. He got tangled up with Williamson.
I'll tell you what, Tom, this doesn't look, I'm talking about Georgia Tech, look like a team that's 0-4 at home. But they do look like a team that's 3-1 on the road so far.
Well, they lost their most recent game against Virginia, 63-58. Despite the fact that Georgia Tech as a team shot 50% in that game. Usher's at the line. He now has 5 points, and the lead is 6. Told you that the largest lead that the Yellow Jackets have had in the first half has been 7. Usher's been a valuable addition to this lineup. Junior from Canton, Georgia. I think most of the folks in the building tonight, Mike, a little bit surprised at our first half result so far.
Well, a lot of folks in the building probably hadn't looked at the stats and seen that this is a very good road team.
Although this foul is against Georgia Tech. Moses Wright has picked up his second personal for the junior from Raleigh, North Carolina.
I don't know what the fans are. Louisville's got 19 fouls. Georgia Tech has 8. I mean, it's not like it's 9-2.
Malik Williams at the free throw line. 64% on the season, and he misses. Georgia Tech as a team, Mike, in this first half, 65% from the floor. 13 of 20 for the Jackets.
Pass.
Banks was looking for a foul.
Malik Williams saves that play.
This is Kimball up and under. Follow Williams. It bounces off. Oh, Williams fell very awkwardly. He's behind the play right now.
But he's getting back in it.
Yeah.
He's running pretty well.
Usher angled to the rim, and a foul was called.
And that being said, he ran over the Louisville bench. Looks like he grabbed his right ankle.
Nickelberry picked up the foul. Number 20 in red and white. But Williams definitely, he tried to follow at the other end. It's good to see him still in the game because it was an awkward fall for Malik Williams. This is Usher at the line with 6 points.
Look, see the penetration, and it just allows them. That's one you've got to finish right there. It looked like he tried to hold on to the rim to protect himself.
So Williams is going straight back to the dressing room. At least he was headed that way. Now he stops in the hallway. He'll wait for his teammates. 1 minute to go in our first half. And the lead now for Georgia Tech is 8.
There's been a lot of calls inside on offensive rebounds with the front line of either team.
Looking inside, Enoch got his defender in the air. He'll follow his own miss and tap it in.
Got away with a little travel, a hop right there. Josh Pastner wants to call that use it or lose it timeout with 39 seconds left.
So with his team ahead by 6. Coach Pastner's taking a timeout. And while we have a minute, let's get a word from Bojangles.
Say good morning and mean it with 2 hefty, zesty Bojangles sausage biscuits. It's Bo time.
This game has been hefty and zesty, Mike. 38-32 with 39 seconds to go in the first half.
Well, and I think if you're Josh Pastner in this situation, that you want to take as much off the clock as you can, get a shot, and give Louisville, not much time to bring it up. There's 9 seconds between, actually 14 seconds between shot and game clock.
So the Cardinals, we told you, coming off of that win at Duke. It was the 250th in the career of the head coach of the Louisville Cardinals, Chris Mack, although I think he has quickly forgotten that game at Duke, Mike, and completely focused on what Georgia Tech has brought to the table this evening.
Well, it's funny. He came over to talk to us today, and, I said, great win against Duke. It's a tough place to play, and win is, and he goes, you know that, but he says, hey, I'm thinking about the next game, the team that we have in front of us.
Yeah. Just the 5th top 3 road win in Louisville program history. So Chris Mack and the Cards made history in Durham at Cameron Indoor Stadium. And they're getting the ball back right here with 24.5 seconds to go. Win number 250 in the career of Chris Mack. Georgia Tech following up a first half against Virginia where it shot 61%. Right now, 62% in the first half. Cards looking for the last points. McMahon and Parham struggling for the loose ball. Usher lets it fly from midcourt. It's well off the mark. But Georgia Tech will go to the locker room with the lead over the number 6 team in the country. 38-32, halftime, straight ahead. The Cardinals are 10-1 at home this season, but at the half they trailed the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets 38-32. Georgia Tech is 4-0 so far this season with the halftime lead.
It's interesting that Georgia Tech has its lead. They had 10 turnovers in the first half, which is above the rate that they normally turn it over, which is last in the league. But they're saved by 10 of 14 at the free throw line and 60+% shooting from the field.
Georgia Tech was 13 of 21 on field goal attempts, and that includes 2 of 6 from beyond the arc. This is DeVoe. Stop and start. Wow, using the glass and his body effectively, Mike, to shield the defender.
Well, here's the thing, too, for Louisville offensively. Sutton, no points first half. McMahon, no points first half. You know, they got to get those guys going offensively.
Now, Sutton had 4 rebounds, and that takes him over 800 in his career, but kept off of the scoreboard. As far as points are concerned, Wara.
Double team drives him off into the corner.
And it's stripped away. Alvarado shovels it to DeVoe. Wara recovers defensively. DeVoe tries to drive him.
Yeah, if you can't pick up your dribble right there, you got to extend the play and get it out.
It's going to stay with Georgia Tech. Jackets are trying to snap an 8-game losing streak in this series. They've lost 5 in a row here in Louisville. Overall, the series is led by Louisville 21-13 in the 35th all-time meeting. Shot clock winding down for the Jackets and DeVoe. Lost the handle. Perry fighting with him.
Yeah, they're going to call a shot clock violation. Yes. It happened simultaneously with the call on the jump ball. So I think the correct call there.
The arrow does favor Louisville right now, but again, a shot clock violation against Georgia Tech. And it's 11th turnover of the ball game. Enoch backing down on Banks, slamming into one another.
No shot, but Banks got the foul.
It's the third on Banks.
A couple of sumo wrestlers. It wasn't in the old days. Except there wouldn't have been a whistle.
Back in my day, you know, when I was player of the year in 1979, I went to the Final Four in 1978 at Duke. Mike Jaminski.
You never thought you were going to sound like your grandfather.
Wara just turned into a double team, and the Yellow Jackets held their ground. Here's the long outlet to DeVoe. And he knocks down a 3. 14 points, Mike, for DeVoe.
Great start for the half.
Look at this.
Better. Yeah.
Up by 11, largest lead of the game, Georgia Tech. The crowd is awfully quiet here at KFC Yum Center until that moment.
Yeah, but Sutton's first points of the game, good time for him to show up offensively. Well, it seems like in that first half, every time Louisville tried to make a run, that Georgia Tech had an answer. And Alvarado picked up the foul, get to the line for 2.
Perry picks up the foul, and it's his first. So Perry with the personal foul. That last 3 for the Cards from Sutton. He can hit the 3, shoots about 39%. While we have a second, a quick word from Myrtle Beach Golf Trail.
Myrtle Beach Golf Trail, a new way to experience golf in Myrtle Beach. Visit myrtlebeachgolftrail.com.
I hit a ball in that lake one time.
Just one? Come on now.
All right, it's leave.
13 points for Alvarado. A 10-point lead in the second half early stages. Enoch inside.
Way really well-designed play. The back line for Georgia Tech got caught looking at the ball like a cornerback looking in at the quarterback. And
Stephen Enoch has 8 points. Alvarado came up short with the floater in the paint. Perry. Kimball. Long rebound. Kimball almost ran it down. Alvarado falls at midcourt.
Kimball will get the call.
So it was Kimball who ran into Alvarado. First foul on Kimball, Mike.
See, look right there.
Malik Williams is into the game along with Johnson. He's right behind Williams.
Again, Tom, let's keep an eye as this game unfolds. And it's they've carved it down to an 8-point lead, but all of the starters for Georgia Tech played over 17 minutes in that first half. So, does fatigue catch up with them in the last 10 minutes of this game?
You saw Banks lead the game. He's got 3 personal fouls. Evan Cole, the junior, comes in for Banks.
That's a big drop-off. Rebounding.
Perry. Laura tried the one-handed jam, flying to the rim.
He would have made a layup.
Quick movement. Alvarado halfway down and out. That one knocked away by Usher as he collided with Williams. Good sportsmanship from Usher as he helps Williams back up, but it is the 3rd foul on Usher.
His 3rd personal foul, 2nd team foul.
Josh Pastner's never beaten Louisville as the head coach at Georgia Tech. 0 for 3 against the Cardinals.
Not just the numbers that Louisville can run in at you, but there's not only fouls, but does that become a factor for Georgia Tech at some point in time? Personal fouls.
Johnson around the edge. He made it look easy. 6 points.
Well, I like him. I think there's a lot of expectations for the guys who come here from Louisville. The hometown, the crowd knows them. They've seen them play in high school.
Alvarado tried to send that pass along the baseline to Cole. It is off of Georgia Tech, and Louisville has possession. It's a 6-point game. The freshman, David Johnson, beating the Georgia Tech defense and laying it in. 45-39 Tech. Well, while you're watching Cardinal basketball, you never know what might happen. This young woman, how about this? She's brought to tears by a prize pack sent in by Lamar Jackson, the former Heisman Trophy winner here at Louisville. I mean, come on, football, bag, Ravens gear. Oh, she's just thrilled. What a night. Regardless of the outcome, she's a winner tonight, thanks to Lamar Jackson.
We didn't get swag, but a shout out to Kenny Klein. We were here for most of the day with shoot-arounds and Neil and of course the game, and he gave us our own green room.
He did.
Change room, so took good care of us.
Very kind of Kenny Klein and his staff here at Louisville. You're caught up on the game summary. The Cards are bringing the ball up, trailing 45-39. Trailed by 6 at halftime. 15-30 and change to go here in our second half. Tom Wormy, Mike Jaminski, and our outstanding ACC basketball production crew with you from KFC Yum Center. 3 ball right in front of his own bench. 5 points for Williamson. And the lead is 3.
Yeah, it's still 15 minutes to go, but a big possession for Georgia Tech to get back on track.
DeVoe almost slipped down. Usher backing up. That's deflected out of bounds off of Louisville.
And that's not, they got lucky. I don't know that that's the shot that you want to take in that situation. 11 seconds left on the shot clock.
Ball did not hit the rim on the shot attempt. Deflected out of bounds off of Dwayne Sutton. So it's Usher on the inbounds. DeVoe behind the back. Dropped it off to Banks. And he'll go on a rim bender for Georgia Tech.
That caused by penetration inside. Draws the bigs up. All you have to do is catch and dunk.
Mike, this is what you were referring to earlier in the game. Every time Louisville tries to throw the haymaker, Georgia Tech has a response. And most recently, a dunk from Banks and a feed from DeVoe.
Well, and with the rush, I would think that Josh Pastner would have liked to kept Banks out a little bit more with those 3 personal fouls, but forced to bring him back in.
Alvarado gives it off to Banks. Kind of got caught in the air there and didn't know what to do with it and lost it out of bounds. So the two tried to collaborate for a second straight possession for Georgia Tech, and the result was not what they were looking for.
Yeah, I've never quite seen a shot like that. I mean, if you're stuck, at least face the basket and have an idea where you're going to go. Your chances are you're going to have it blocked. But he tried an over-the-shoulder move. I'm sure if Georgia Tech wins, he'll hear about that shot.
Banks quickly to the bench. Parham is in for Georgia Tech. This is Perry straight away. Williamson. Williams trapped in the corner. Shot clock's at 10. Somewhat disjointed possession for Louisville. Williams can bail him out. Batted around. Wright was going for it. Out of bounds. It'll be Cardinal basketball.
Let's turn it into a football possession for Louisville right now. And
we're just talking about Lamar Jackson, right?
Yeah. And Chris Mack for Williams, he doesn't mind that. He's 4 of 19 now on the year, but he really had to take that shot because the shot clock was running down.
Williams has missed on his 2 3-point attempts. It's another miss, a 3-pointer from Dwayne Sutton. So the lead at 5. Alvarado tried to get it to Wright. Johnson stepped to the passing lane. 2-on-2. Puts the shot up. Off the glass and good. Had a chance at a 3-point play.
Boy, was that any good? Both ends, and the coach staff talked about, even as a freshman, very level-headed, great at both ends of the floor, made the pick on the other end, took it all the way, and a chance for a 3-point opportunity here.
Foul is on Parham for Georgia Tech, and Johnson standing at the free throw line.
Tommy makes it look so easy. Doesn't he look effortless when he's out on the floor?
He has done that on a couple of occasions, Mike. 8 points, first trip to the free throw line. David Johnson, just 15 tries from the line this season. Usher had it, poked away. Alvarado chases it down. Alvarado in that constant state of awareness, looking for his teammates. Thought about the shot, trying to work on Johnson.
And you've got to make Alvarado go left, and he was able to get his body by Johnson.
So third on Johnson, Mike.
He's going to stay. Yeah, he's going to stay in. He's been with the 3.
So Georgia Tech has taken a timeout. Louisville does not have a double-digit scorer yet. Wara has 9. Johnson has 8. And the difference is 3 against the Yellow Jackets. Well, a few minutes ago it was an 11-point lead for Georgia Tech, but 4 straight possessions with points, Mike, and Louisville's back in this one.
Yeah, some good passing, some good defense. I just think their energy level has picked up dramatically in the first 8 minutes of the second half as opposed to the first half, and some timely 3-point shooting as well. You look at you said no double-figure scores, and there's their matchup to watch, and about a wash right now. Although I really think Georgia Tech's done a nice job on Wara, 3 of 9 from the field, 9 points. But 8 of the 10 players for Louisville that have played have scored, and the starters are the only 5 that have scored for Georgia Tech.
Cards are on a 7-2 run as Georgia Tech possesses the basketball deep into the shot clock. Alvarado launches the 3. Williamson tracks it down.
A lot more. Good look ahead.
Williams tight to the backboard. It's a hell ball situation. It's going to stay with the Cardinals. Georgia Tech with its last miss now 0 for its last 4 field goal attempts, but still leading 47-44.
A good pass, but what it did was it pinned Banks underneath the backboard and wasn't able to get the shot up.
3 points in the game for Williams. And he's coming out for Louisville.
A little more offense out of Enoch. He should be better three-point shooter, better scorer.
Johnson on DeVoe. Puts it up off the glass and good. Forceful move on DeVoe. Double digits for Johnson.
Wow. Very impressive.
His last 2.5 games, 40 points for Johnson. They go inside the Banks. Williamson ties them up. The arrow favors the Jackets. It is a 1-point game here in Louisville. Jackets and Cards, ACC basketball. A close game between the Jackets and Cardinals. A 1-point lead for Georgia Tech with 11:50 to go in our second half. David Johnson has gotten to double digits. He is the only Cardinal to get there, Mike. The freshman, the scoring punch for the Cards.
Well, and despite a little bit of foul trouble, but Chris Mack showing a lot of confidence in him. And, you know, it's not if you start, it's if you finish. And you see 10 points right there, and that just leads to the big disparity in bench points for the two teams now, 18-0 in favor of Louisville.
Johnson has 10 of those 18 bench points for Louisville. Third straight game he's gotten to double digits after scoring 19 in the win at Duke. For this Louisville program, they held Duke to 37% shooting. Duke, by the way, is the top shooting team in the league at 48% as a team. But the Cards did the defensive job on Duke. Shot clock at 10 for Georgia Tech and leading by 1. DeVoe got bumped. This is going to be Johnson, Mike.
So here's the
4.
Yeah. And Chris Max doesn't look. Oh yeah, now they're going to substitute in.
They have to, right?
Yes.
Fresh Kimball in there.
That's too bad. And again, you know, as a freshman, he's going to, you know, learn to defend and understanding the scouting report.
Leads the game as the leading scorer for the Cards with 10. Turnaround from DeVoe, back iron.
Here's the possession to get over the top if you're Louisville. You flush your way back from a double-figure deficit.
42% shooting for the game for the Cards. 6 of 17 from three-point range. A pass inside somehow found Enoch.
Well, they've run that backside screen a lot in this game, and it's gotten them some good stuff inside, either dunks, layups, or free throws.
Parham picked up his second personal foul. So Enoch at the line. He's made his 2 free throw attempts in this game so far.
Yeah, I mean, you know, really solid numbers for him. 51% from the floor, 30% from 3, 70% from the line.
Mike, don't forget, coming up next on most of these regional sports networks, second half of our doubleheader featuring Boston College and Pittsburgh. 55th all-time meeting between those programs.
How could I possibly forget, Tom?
That's coming up right after us. BC's trying to snap a 3-game losing streak. Louisville went on the road and defeated the Pittsburgh program in overtime. Part of that 4-game winning streak. Parham in the air finds Wright. Wright for 3 out of the corner, and he's ripping the ropes for Georgia Tech, and 8 points for Moses Wright.
They got caught up again. They found that shooter on the left side on any kind of drive into the paint.
Over the top. Enoch, 11 points. He's in the double digits. And his 11 leads this Louisville team tonight.
2 good offensive possessions on either end of the floor by both teams.
That 3 by Moses Wright, Mike, just his 6th of the season.
You see, you know, in that situation, if you're Stephen Enoch, you're trying to hedge on the screen, and Williams is going to come back in. You got a guy going laterally, not even going to go to the basket, and you're 30 feet away, and you pick up a foul.
think Chris Mack put in a nutshell what you just said.
But you know, if you're the point guard, you drive at the big guy. If he's going to hedge like that, you know, you go right at him and try to pick up foul.
This is Usher dribbling into the paint. Off the glass, Wara tapped it and then recovered it.
Wara's been quiet. He's got to come up. He's got to start to take over.
Tried to get to the rim. Usher ended up with the basketball, but now he's being summoned by Pat Driscoll.
For Wara, he's had a relatively quiet night tonight.
So Parham picked up his third personal. Here from Louisville, Kentucky. KFC Yum Center. Tom Wormy, Mike Trubinsky.
Great venue, great fan base. And you know what? We'll be doing the women's game tomorrow night, and there'll be almost as many people here for that.
There should be.
Both of them are top 10 programs.
The women are taking on Virginia. The women's team is ranked number 5 in the country. The men number 6.
Well, bragging rights so far.
So Wara now with 10 points after that free throw. So he is the third player for Louisville to double digits, joining Johnson and Enoch. 9:40 to go in regulation. Tied at 50. Louisville hasn't seen the lead since early in the first half. This is Usher on the baseline against Sutton. He needs assistance. Parham trying to save it at the midcourt stripe. Goes it into Banks. And Banks puts it off the glass and in.
Boy, what by Parham, what hustle. And then everybody, Louisville thought there was going to be a violation, and they left him alone. And he just beat the shot clock.
So 10 points for Banks for Georgia Tech and a foul against the Jackets.
Watch it. This one looks like it's way gone, and then he tracks it down, and there's nobody back behind in the paint.
Parham picked up another foul, his 4th. 10 points for Banks. Banks is playing with 3 personal fouls. Williams at the free throw line. 1 for 4 from the line before that attempt.
Did they have a lead in this game?
The last lead for Louisville, Mike, was at the 15-23 mark of the first half. They led 11-10. They just came back to tie it up at 50 with 9 of 9 to go. And they have tied it at 52. So here we go. Buckle in, Mike Trubinsky. Crunch time.
Again, for Josh Pastner, it's a 9-minute game now. And that's as good as you can hope for on the road against this team.
Georgia Tech led by 11 earlier in this half. Cards have come back to tie it up. They scoop up the loose ball with Fresh Kimball. Off to his right and Wara. Moses Wright met him in midair, out of bounds, and Georgia Tech basketball. How about Moses?
A lot of contact on that play. Chris Mack, they want to pick up the pace. Here's the look. Alvarado dribbled himself into trouble.
So it was Moses Wright defensively against Wara. DeVoe on the handle. Crossing over Sutton. Tough angle on the backboard. Wara came flying in over the top. Wright was there as well. And it's off the Jackets to the Cards. Should Georgia Tech prevail tonight, it would be their 4th win on the road in the ACC, Mike. They have not done that since 2008.
Terrible. Logic would say it'd be the other way around.
Kind of like a bizarro world for Georgia Tech. Wara was up in the air. Alvarado was defending. The arrow is going to favor Louisville. It was a held ball. Louisville will have it when we come back, tied at 52. Tied for the 6th time of the game, 52 all. Yellow Jackets and Cardinals. Time for our CPI security protecting the paint, and it's Moses Wright.
Yeah, he went up and they met War right at the rim, and then ball kicked out of bounds. He's got 2 of Georgia Tech's 3 blocks. That one was right on the borderline as far as I was concerned, but referees called it that way. But great hustle getting back in that play by him.
8 points in the game for Wright. He's Georgia Tech's leading scorer in ACC games this season, with almost 15 per game. KFC Yum Center rocking as Louisville has come back to tie this game, with Georgia Tech leading by as many as 11 in the second half.
One more foul for Georgia Tech puts Louisville in the bonus, and then Louisville 2 fouls.
Laura snares it. Alvarado tried to take it away.
You know that's the shot you want coming out of a timeout.
Cards looking for their first lead since early in the first half, and the layup is good. A drive from Kimball. He's got 5.
That's the kind of shot you want. That's fresh.
They led 11-10. About 5 minutes in. They have regained the lead.
Let's see if there's an answer here.
Banks over Williams. The iron was most unagreeable for Banks. Fresh wants to slow it down. I have the go-ahead to utilize that. Williams on the alley-oop. Banks went up there as well to contest it, as Kimball was trying to find Williams midair, mind you.
Now, I get what he was trying to do, but again, in that situation, they can catch the ball and come down. He goes flying by at this point if it happens, and it's a much easier shot. Now, he gets the free throws.
It is the 4th foul on Banks also. And now Williams at the free throw line. 3 of 6 in the game for Malik Williams from the stripe. Cards as a team now, Mike, 9 of 16 on free throw attempts. 6 points for Williams, and Coach Pastor has seen his 11-point lead completely evaporate over the last several minutes. Cards up by 3, could be 4 in just a second.
Is it a function of the number of players and the bench? The bench is certainly going to be the story of this game.
Louisville outscoring Georgia Tech 20-0 in bench points.
If Louisville goes on to win, I mean that's going to be that'll be the storyline.
That bounce goes the way of the Cards, although Pat Driscoll and Ted Valentine are talking about perhaps the clock. The reset on the shot clock should be 20. And it is. Yeah. And it is. McMahon. Unselfish to Williams.
Just Louisville getting anything they want inside. Terrific look by McMahon. You want to honor him as a three-point shooter, so that opens things up inside.
8 points for Williams on the pass from McMahon. Alvarado escapes the double team. Parham, backdoor, Moses Wright.
And that was a lot of poise by Alvarado. He was dead in the water over in the sideline. Somehow got out of it, and they made a play.
Wright's got 10 points, double digits for him for the 15th time this season. Now Banks trying to defend Williams.
Kind of a half double team right there.
The turnaround hook.
Yeah, and he went away from where the double team would have come from. So nice offensive move by Malik Williams.
And now he's got 10 points. 5-point lead Cardinals. 5:45 to go. They whip it over to DeVoe for 3. Front rim. Up ahead is McMahon. He will lay it in.
There's a timeout by Josh Pastner. He sees this game getting away from him. And how about the look ahead? You take a shot that surprises your teammates, and it leads to a run out.
An 11-2 run for the Cardinals. McMahon with that last bucket on the layup. And his first points of the game. Don't forget, top of the hour, more ACC basketball. Second game of our doubleheader features Boston College and Pittsburgh. Pitt coming off of its second consecutive win over North Carolina this season. BC trying to stop a 3-game losing streak. Check your local listings for the broadcast time in your region. Boston College and Pittsburgh to follow Georgia Tech and Louisville on a 4-game night in the ACC.
Part of that group of about 8 or so teams that are within a game of each other. Tom, either 3 and 4, 4 and 3, 500.
Cardinals, who currently are tied at the top of the standings with a 6-1 record with the Florida State Seminoles, have their largest lead of the night. It is 7, 61-54. Georgia Tech with the basketball and 5.5 minutes to go in regulation. That pass by Usher, stolen by Wara. He goes to the rim. Doesn't get the roll. Here's Enoch. He'll clean it up.
Nice job following up. I thought Nora was actually looking for somebody to come flying at him rather than concentrating on making the shot.
13 points, Stephen Enoch. McMahon ends up with it. He gets tripped up. It's on Usher. It's the 4th on Usher. What a turnaround in this half. And Georgia Tech is going to take a timeout. It was going to be an uphill climb from the start for this Georgia Tech program. They've lost their last 17 games against ranked opponents. You have to go back to 2018. And lost their last 19 road games against ranked teams. They haven't beaten one since 2015 at Miami. So for Georgia Tech, right now calling a timeout with 5 minutes left and trailing 63-54. Their next game is against NC State.
3 of the next 4 at home.
Yeah.
They've been away from the flats for a while. We talked about that earlier in the broadcast.
Georgia Tech is also out of timeouts. NC State won at Virginia on Monday by 2 against the Cavs. That was after beating Clemson on Saturday at home in Raleigh. And Clemson had just beaten North Carolina and Duke.
You know, I was wondering if, just thinking about it, we were talking about teams, who's going to get a bid in the tournament. If C.J. Bryce stays healthy, NC State's a team that could move up the charts a little bit.
Absolutely. They were not one of 7 teams to make the tournament last year from the ACC, which featured 3 number 1 seeds. Virginia, the eventual national champ, Duke, and North Carolina, Mike, which is in peril.
Yeah, severe peril. And I don't think it's going to be tough the way the league is going this year. I think they get 7 bids. It could happen, but it's certainly going to be harder, I think, than it was last year. I mean, it was pretty apparent. I mean, they were talking about 9 at one point in time.
Louisville was one of those 7 teams to make it to the tournament last year, but lost in the first round against Minnesota.
Well, I mean, Josh Pastner really, he had no choice but to burn that last time out. He's got to keep this game within reach.
So Banks is back in after the 2 free throws from Ryan McMahon, who is now 22 of 24 from the line this season, 91% for the senior from Sarasota, Florida. Just came out of the game for Louisville. That's DeVoe. He got fouled on the drive against Sutton. Although Sutton doesn't exactly agree, it is his 3rd personal foul.
If you're Georgia Tech, this is a way to climb back in the game, grind it out, get to the rim, try to get a foul called and stop the clock.
42-year-old Josh Pastner, hands on hips, can't believe what has happened over the last several minutes. Of course, it's been the fate of many teams to come into this building this season. 10-1 record for the Cardinals. DeVoe at the free throw line up to 16 points now.
Well, if you're Louisville and Chris Mack, I mean, you pace and energy is what got them this lead. You want to continue to play that way.
Cards have won 6 of their last 8 games, 4 in a row, 3 of those on the road. Long angular rebound to Parham. All the way into the rim. It looked pretty easy there for DeVoe, 18 points.
No help on the backside that time. Easy blow by.
Hold on a second, Mike Juminski.
Yeah. Well, and this, Chris Mack can see this coming. I wonder if they're, well, he's got the under 4-minute media timeout in his favor.
That'll go across the end line. It's going back to Georgia Tech. So Michael DeVoe, 18 points after that layup. 6 of 12 from the floor. Here's your game summary, and I point out 2 differentials here, Mike Juminski. The shooting percentage of the Jackets first to second half, and that bottom line is correct. Bench scoring and a massive advantage for the Louisville Cardinals.
Well, and we touched at the top that Georgia Tech, their starting 5 basically carries them. They've got 19 minutes off the bench with 2 players, and Parham's got 15 of those minutes. So they're basically playing 6 guys.
Parham has not scored, obviously. We just showed you that discrepancy. 29-0 for the Cardinals. David Johnson responsible for 10 points off the bench for the Cards.
Big stop for Louisville.
Moses Wright has to give it up to DeVoe for 3, and DeVoe knocks it down. 21 points in the game. Michael DeVoe, way above his season average, Junan, of 16 per game.
Yeah, and it's a 4-point game already. And I tell you, the last couple possessions, it looked like Louisville was running clock and didn't get anything as a result.
This is Johnson. DeVoe, long TD pass for Alvarado. He wants that one back, that's for sure.
Well, that's the 17th turnover of the game for Georgia Tech, and Josh Pastner, great defensive play. He's pointing to his head right now, saying, "Think. We don't need the home run play right now."
It was a 7-0 run for Georgia Tech, and still is, as this possession unfolds for Louisville, and all the points by Michael DeVoe. 21 points in the game to lead everybody. Shot clock at 8. Perry missed it. Williams stepped over Alvarado. Alvarado's clutching the back of his head. Might have been some inadvertent contact. The ball went out of bounds and will belong to Georgia Tech.
I mean, both teams have been willing to dive after the ball on the floor. He may look at Pastner and say, "I need a rest coach," and Josh's going to look the other way.
Can't do it.
Yeah. Rub some dirt on it, go play.
You said Mike Alvarado.
Tough kid.
Tough young man.
He is a tough young man. He's going to shake it off.
Alvarado, the junior from Brooklyn, New York, Christ the King High School.
Not to make light of a head injury, but he's looked like it wasn't that bad.
Well, he tries the shot attempt, then tries to chase it down. Williams went up for it, volleyballed around. It's going to be off of Louisville, out of bounds, with 2:22 in the game clock.
Just remember, we're 22 seconds away from that being a reviewable play. It's got to be under 2 minutes in the half. So the referees are consulting on it right now, trying to get it right.
If you're an ACC opponent, very difficult to win in this building. Louisville is 35-13 in their 6th year in the ACC. Officials were talking about this previous play. That was Alvarado trying to throw it off of the Louisville player Darius Perry, and then
it's going to be Georgia Tech ball.
It should be.
Yeah.
10 Valentine was pointing at this corner.
Well, and I think he's also whether there was a change of possession and what the clock should be.
They are looking at the shot clock.
25 seconds instead of. They were saying that it was a change of possession, and he was able to throw it off, and then 5 seconds elapsed before it went out of bounds.
Georgia Tech trailing by 4. Cards have taken an 11-point lead after trailing by that much in this half.
They're going to switch inside, but he's out on the floor.
Shot clock winding down for Wright. Weak side Banks. Shot clock resets to 20. Wide open Wright with the jam against Williams, who went up to contest the shot. First foul on Williams.
Well, and you know what? Great percentages right there because Moses is a 58% free throw shooter. So rather than give up the dunk in that situation, you're not in foul trouble. Make him earn 2 points at the line.
1 of 2 from the line of the game.
So already you're one ahead of him on the play. So it was a good call. And again, the bad free throw shooter block out, and he makes that one.
That's 11 points for Wright. He makes it a 3-point game with 1:50 to go. Georgia Tech has not defeated a ranked opponent on the road in their last 19 tries. Have to go back to 2015. Johnson past 2 defenders. The ball ends up with Alvarado. He's waiting for reinforcements for the moment.
4 Cardinals back. Good transition D.
DeVoe, who's been stellar in this game. Hesitation and drive. Drops it off to Banks, and he slams it.
Amazing twists and turns of this game. You thought at the 5-minute mark or before that Louisville had put this game away. Were they up 11 at that point?
You're exactly right, Mike. And now it's a 1-point game.
It's a lot of heart by the Yellow Jackets. I think might have gotten away with a little bit of a walk right there.
So Banks with the jam, Mike, has 12 points in the game. There are 4 Yellow Jackets in double digits, led by DeVoe with 21 points. That was his 3rd assist of the night. So the Cardinals called the timeout, leading by just 1 with 1:12 on the clock.
Obviously, they're going to lock in on him, but I'll go back to Jordan Wara. Only 10 points so far in this game, and I think, he's the guy you got to look to.
So just past 9 o'clock on the Eastern Seaboard, and those of you looking for Boston College at Pittsburgh, we will get you there at the conclusion of our game. Georgia Tech and Louisville. We'll join Tim Brando and Dan Bonner at Peterson Event Center for the Eagles and the Panthers. Right here, it's a 1-point game. Cards lead 65-64.
So it's a night off for Mr. Bonner.
I have no comment. It has not been a night off for DeVoe. He has produced at every level. 21 points.
And that's with the tweaked ankle. He's coming off 6 points against Virginia.
Exactly. Moore, you mentioned, Mike, 1 of the double-digit scorers for the Cardinals with 10. Most of his damage done in the first half. Jose Alvarado, 13 points, 10 boards. First career double-double for Alvarado, number 10 in all gold. What night it has been.
Confidence again, and Johnson putting the ball in the freshman's hands with the end of the game.
Strong move, Sutton. Enoch, offensive glass. He gets tied up by Wright. And the arrow favors Georgia Tech. Cards had a couple of chances at it. The Yellow Jackets come away with possession.
They have been letting the bigs play inside. I mean, there's been a lot of it's been on both ends of the floor, but I think that Georgia Tech has almost gotten better looks inside than Louisville has.
All right, Mike, the final 50 seconds of regulation. A 1-point lead and a 10-0 run for Georgia Tech. Trailing the Cards 65-64. Alvarado trying to get it to Banks. Back to Alvarado. Shot clock at 3. Has to shoot it. Comes up short. There's Wright. His follow's no good. Williams the rebound.
And the foul going the other way. It's the same call as on the other end. So it's been consistent. It's been physical. Here's the look, and Alvarado just was not in a position to make that shot. And again, I thought you could have finished on both ends of the floor.
The foul for Georgia Tech was on Parham, and that is his 5th. So he is disqualified from further play. Has not scored tonight or attempted a field goal.
Usher going to come back in.
So in all of this confusion, Williams is going to be at the free throw line. He is 4 of 8 from the line tonight and 10 points. Malik Williams. He missed the first 4 games of the season. Foot injury. In fact, they had to put a screw in that right foot. And it hasn't bothered Williams tonight. Double digits against Duke with 12. This could be number 12 as far as points for Williams right here on this free throw. And more importantly,
and remember, Georgia Tech out of timeouts.
That one spins off. It is off of Sutton, who is fighting ferociously for that rebound. It'll be Georgia Tech ball, down by 2.
And they want to take a look at it just to make sure.
Less than 2 minutes, as you just referenced, Mike. Going to the monitor. We've got Matt Potter and Ted Valentine. He's on the right, over at the scorer's table, taking a look at the video review. It appeared that Sutton came in. Yes.
I wish the league would go to.
It was a very quick decision by the officials.
I wish they go to a centralized place like the SEC has. Have somebody up in Greensboro looking at it. Help the referees out here. Ted Valentine been in a lot of games in his league a long time, and he's very decisive.
Take a deep breath for the final 15 seconds of Georgia Tech and Louisville.
If I'm on the road and I'm under man, I go for 3.
DeVoe for the lead. Williams pulls it down. Foul almost immediately.
I thought that was the right play. I mean, they're playing with 5 guys. They've got foul trouble. You're on the road. I go for 3.
And it's a guy who scored 21 points tonight and had made a couple of 3-pointers prior to that miss.
And that's just maybe the tired legs, the shot a little short. Now the question is, for Louisville, if he only makes one of these, do they foul down the other end?
We've seen that situation before in the ACC this year. It happened when the Clemson Tigers had their historic win in Chapel Hill.
I think this is exactly what Chris Mack is calling this timeout to discuss, what the options are. You don't want to put a negative thought in your player's head and say, if he misses, you kind of have to.
Williams now with 12 points, Mike, and 6 of 11 from the free throw line from Malik Williams. Here's what we got coming up for the Cardinals. They're going to play, I just mentioned Clemson. That's their next opponent right here. Also BC, NC State, and back home against Wake Forest on February 5th. Boston College is part of our doubleheader tonight. We're going to get you to that game with BC at Pittsburgh just as soon as we can. Brando and Bonner standing by. 7.4 seconds to go. Williams will have one more free throw and could make it a 4-point lead for Coach Mack. Win number 251 in his career is not going to be easy, Mike, for Coach Chris Mack.
We ran down the fact that the league may not be that strong this year, and that kind of should be the end of the story. Now, no fouls on the three-point shot.
Alvarado misses, and time is going to run out on the Jackets. 68-64. The Cards are 7-1 in conference play, 11-1 at home, with a victory at KFC Yum Center against a very scrappy Georgia Tech team. 68-64 the final for Mike Jaminski. I'm Tom Wormy. So long from Louisville. Now we go to Pittsburgh. Tim Brando, Dan Bonner standing by for the Eagles and the Panthers. So long from Louisville.